try to call in.
All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Trails Committee. We're going to open the meeting now.
So we're literally right at quorum.
Yep, we are at quorum. So welcome, everybody. My name is Scott. I'm the vice chair. Peter Lagoy, the chair, is unable to make it this evening. I flip it so you guys can it, because I'm not multi-talented. And so first I'm going to open the meeting by asking for public comments. I don't see any hands. Okay, next order of business, and I'm going to actually brief the public on something that happened that will require us to kind of revisit some of the votes that we made at the last meeting. So inadvertently, through logistical error, last meeting's, the July 16th meeting was not posted, the agenda. We did not know that. We joined, we didn't, I actually thought a couple other people that joined too, maybe coincidentally, they just did through the notes of the link, but we didn't have the agenda posted in time, so therefore the last meeting is void, basically. So to make up for that, what we're going to do is we're going to first and foremost include the minutes from the July 16th meeting as an artifact for this meeting to ensure that there's full transparency in terms of what was discussed. But then any of the votes that took place that meeting, we will revisit this evening. Any comments or questions about that from the group? No?
Do you want to look at those in now or wait?
We'll wait. So the next order of business, what I'd like to do is I'd like to vote on the prior meeting's minutes, which is in June, Linda? What's the date of that?
Yes. Hold on. Oh, okay, June 18th.
So June 18th. Long time ago, I believe that people voted those in, but I wanted to reopen that. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve those.
Second. Okay, so move. All in favor, I should say? Yep, there you go.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. I said, I heard a high. That would be better. So it's unanimous. Okay, great. So the meetings from the meeting minutes from June 18th are in fact approved. And then second, what we did and we'd like to do tonight is we looked at the organization. So we voted in the officers. So Peter was nominated as chair.
By Jack, do you want to just redo the same people?
It can be any, I mean, if people have rethought it. I know, people can rethink it.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Hey, you never know what a couple weeks can do. If Peter didn't pay you back or something, you know. But do I hear a nomination?
I'll nominate Peter.
Second.
Any discussion or anything further on that? Okay. All in favor of Peter as the chair?
Aye.
Aye. That's unanimous. Second, myself and Sean were nominated for vice chair. And Sean, I think at that time you declined.
No, I seconded your nomination.
You seconded mine and then, okay.
I seconded again.
I don't know if any,
Second, I'll third, fourth.
okay.
Oh, we're still.
Okay, yeah, so Linda nominated me, I got a second.
You.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. And next, I nominated Sean, which I'd like to do again for treasurer. So nominate Sean.
When you can rethink, Sean.
And now the other invoice is second. Okay, we have a second, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so Sean is treasurer, congratulations. And then next is the position of clerk. I know it's a very competitive position. And it's in demand, but in all seriousness, Jane had nominated Linda.
Nominator again.
Okay, and I'll second again, or I think Jeff is seconded. And so any discussion? All in favor as Linda as the clerk next fiscal year? Yeah,
Thank you all for volunteering.
yeah, appreciate it. And so there we go. So the officers have been selected for the next fiscal year. The next order of business is that a proposed hiring of Beals and Thomas was made by Peter to provide a map of the area of East Main Street from Legacy North, not out to the bridge in parentheses, right? And the price that has been quoted was $3,500. Any discussion or clarification on that? If anybody in the public
I
needed,
think I'd just like to add for clarification that that was for people who are going to travel the path. It wasn't to be an in-depth engineering path. It was supposed to be for
right?
without.
Yeah, trail map,
Yeah.
the trail map, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a trail map. It's not anything sophisticated with elevations or anything like that. It's my understanding. It's a mapping out and flagging, I believe.
Yeah.
We're supposed to do some elevations on both, but just.
Not on the trail map.
Nothing that doesn't already exist.
No, we're just going to do
Systems, right?
it one later.
Understanding. Yeah, and some flagging, I believe, as well. Right, Jane, you're right. It's on sort of the existing pathway.
Yeah.
So the quote is $3,500. Any further discussion or questions on that? Would anybody like to make a motion?
I will, because then the notes are the same.
second it.
Jen seconded it. Yeah.
Okay, so we have a motion to proceed and hire Beals and Thomas to do a mapping of the area from East Main Street as far as Legacy North for $3,500. It's the budget. All in favor? Aye. Unanimous. Okay, so those were the votes. Yeah, I know.
I assume we all.
That could be a
That's weird.
very good productive meeting, but we do have a couple other things to talk about. So new treasurer. So there are a couple invoices from Boston Lawnmower and Pratt Mowing. I believe one of them was a strap for Boston Lawnmower for $30.48, and Pratt Mowing was $22,160 for the Hughes and Pratt Steels. I don't recall if we voted,
No.
but at this point, at this time, yeah, we do need to approve it because we'll have to register Sean as the treasurer as the designated person who can sign the paperwork for us with finance, and I can help you.
Just in all fairness, we can talk about these at the last meeting.
No.
No, we didn't.
Oh, we didn't? Oh, okay, okay. I'm sorry about that.
This is new
Okay,
business.
this is new business. Apologies. Okay, so, any discussion, any concerns anybody would have about these expenses?
No, but we also have to talk about the certificate and mailing expenses. So if you want to keep going with item 4 on the agenda or whatever item that's.
Well, we went from 3 to 5, so,
And there is no floor open.
yeah.
So
No, there's afterwards.
Yeah, sorry. So, discussion, Jane?
So question, I'm sure this isn't, Pratt's quote is in line with previous year's quotes.
I actually
And
can't speak to
second-
that.
How often does he do it? He must do it 2 or 3 times a year.
I recall a discussion about kind of as needed.
Keep up with it.
It's, yeah, definitely keeps up with it, but in the slower growing season, I think it's every 2 to 3 weeks.
Twice.
Okay.
I don't know about Hughes, but Chuck may know.
Just check on the line.
Yeah, Chuck, do you know how often Hughes and Pratt are mowed?
I actually know that Hughes got mowed the days before our
Or then?
girls club.
I know that
I thought,
I'm over there relatively often and I've never seen it overgrown, so that's all I can say.
Chuck, do you know how often Hughes and
yeah.
Pratt get mowed?
I believe that he, at least at Pratt Farm, he mows every couple of weeks.
It's that often as well.
Oh, I think he mows the main trail parts and then maybe twice a
Yes.
year he does the.
Right, I believe only once a year they do the full demowing of the full meadow. They wait until after, later in the season after, ground nesters are gone and most of the blooms have faded.
And what about Hughes? Thank you.
I think it's on about the same regime.
Okay,
He may even alternate, who knows? I seem to recall a conversation.
So
Jane and.
just ask
Yeah,
one more
please.
question. Do you know by any chance if this 2160 seems to be in line with previous years? You may not,
I
but
don't-
just-
I do not know, and I do not know if that's the contract for a full year. It sounds
Yeah.
Pretty
that's the
darn-
question I was
pretty-
gonna ask.
pretty good, pretty like a bargain for a full year of that, yeah.
just seeing.
It does seem
Yeah.
like it would.
Yeah.
Anyway, maybe we could
So,
get clarification.
Yeah, you guys want to defer this to, we get a little bit more clarification?
No, I think we should pay this bill,
Yeah,
but maybe we
agree.
can have more information the next time it's followed.
I vaguely recall hearing $5,000 from Paul
Yeah,
at an earlier meeting.
I think 21 would be pretty cheap for.
And so I thought 5,000 was the number. So to me, I agree with Jane, we should pay it. My gut is that we should expect enough.
Can I just ask, are there any other places that get mowed besides these two?
Well, so on that point, with regards to Hughes, was the mow the meadow area and, out by the railroad, but not the front part. So that's done separately.
But the town, isn't it?
Right.
Oh,
So I don't know whether it's an
Well,
intelligent.
then we get a clarification for next time.
okay.
Yeah.
I actually don't think it's very intelligent because a lot of the work is.
I think Peter might be managing that contract, so maybe we can get the details from him.
Maybe
I think Chuck has some comments to say.
For the mowing of the meadows, that may be under a separate budget rather than mowing the paths, which are clearly the trails. I don't know that for sure, but I would think that mowing the meadows would be, it might be under a separate budget, possibly the town or OSBC. I do not know for sure.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think it might, some of it might go to agency.
I mean, I think a lot of good questions. So I do agree that we should pay the vendor. That sounds like they either done the work of their expected contracted.
Would pay these bills.
Okay. So do we have a second?
Second,
Okay. All in favor of paying these invoices?
Right, but maybe we ought to discuss, what exactly gets noted at a different time.
I think
yeah,
we could do that at the next meeting
Yeah.
and get clarification, I think.
Right, yeah. Is it okay, Linda? Could you add that to the minutes? So we'll put that on the next agenda. Right.
Who's are we gonna look at the invoice? Are we gonna call
I
Brad?
think
or-
there's.
So we're gonna get more details from Peter, and I'll take it as an action in between now and the next meeting for perhaps even to send to the group some details.
okay.
That works.
Touch base with, I'm not sure, I mean,
Yeah, he's away for another week or so. I'll talk it. That's a month. Okay, great. So, back to trail priorities. Sorry, Jane.
yeah, we have other bills.
Oh, yeah, that's why I jumped to invoices, actually, thanks. So, the group, for the general public, the group undertook notifications for the general public for public hearing. And so the group divided and conquered, we took names, put labels, some people that may listen to the recording, I guess, not a lot of people on the call now, could in fact be recipients of these.
And what was it for, which project?
It was for the loop road, the connector, I thought.
Chamberlain.
The Chamberlain connector, thanks. Yeah, thanks. And so we have invoices, so I don't know who brought their invoices tonight. I emailed mine to Peter. So could we give them to the
We'll
treasurer?
give them to the treasurer. And
Mine is for 4770.
You know what, you did the aggregated one, didn't you?
No,
Oh, you didn't?
I had fewer than you.
Oh, that's why I think so. So separate issue, there was a lot of, did you guys have to cut and tape yours together?
Yeah, I did. If we ever do this again, we make sure we do the.
Well, Peter's not printing it out.
we should probably ask the town. No, we could probably ask the town to do it.
Yeah, I used a lot of Scotch tape and scissors.
Yeah.
But at any rate, so as an aside, but any comments or questions, Sean? Peter said he will consolidate it and create one invoice, Sean, so you don't actually have to go and create separate payments or anything, if you don't mind, just if you meet up with Peter, we can just pass those on to Peter. That's-
Angie has one also, and he's not here,
Okay,
so.
you can just pass it on to Peter then.
Okay,
Well, we're on the, who wants to take charge of these?
so I'm sorry,
deposits?
so Sean is taking them to Peter, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's collecting them,
Yeah.
he's recording them, and
We
then,
just have to take them to the treasurer. They
Wow.
need to see it, and they need to see a copy of the minutes that we are approving.
Mhm.
yeah, until Sean is
So it can't
designated.
even happen until after next session. Because we don't
Right.
approve minutes.
Right.
So,
Yeah, so I'll summarize it, talk to Andy about his invoice, because that's the one that's missing. And we'll put that into the next minutes.
Perfect.
And then we vote on it then.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, and does anybody need these or?
We do need to save the certificates, in my view,
Who do we give
to,
them to?
as proof. I would say probably the chair.
I think so.
Yeah. I kept mine at home, knowing he was gonna be here. But so if you want to, if anybody has them, you can pass them to me. And I'll just put them, since I was the original distributor, I'll collect it and consolidate. Yeah. Great. Thanks for doing that, everybody.
It was hard to take very long,
It
actually.
took me forever because I'm not a very good business cutoff.
Surprised you didn't
And some of
get involved. That's
something out there, I don't know, sharp objects.
Oh, okay. There's-
Updates as sharp objects. Very good. Good. Okay, so any other invoices or orders of business around invoices? Because that is why I skipped there. I figured we did get the tactical stuff up. Okay. So another agenda item is to talk about trial priorities, sort of
Let's
standing.
approve these, the minutes from,
It wasn't an official meeting to approve, so we're going to include as an artifact
yep.
for the public. I don't think we have to.
June minutes.
Can I just show people the changes?
Sure.
They're honestly nothing, but I'll just.
The changes from June or from
No,
July?
July,
Yeah, 7/16.
because
You can, but it wasn't an official meeting.
No, 7/16 was,
No.
Wasn't a vote.
There's nothing to vote on and nothing to edit, and they're not, and if we,
so we're just gonna.
if, no,
Those-
no, we're gonna put them in as an artifact.
Right, okay, Okay.
As notes
okay,
for the meeting to memorialize it for the general public, to keep
Okay.
it open, transparency.
substantial, the change,
Right.
we're all little things, so don't worry about it.
I agree.
But we'll include those, with these minutes, so they're embedded and it's part of today's meeting.
Yep.
So it's basically just additional and somewhat repetitive content.
Yep.
Okay, so, another topic are trail priorities, a standing item, as are a couple others. So in terms of, the priority, we talked last meeting about establishing 3 priorities. I don't know if anybody wants to start the discussion or dialogue around priorities, or if you wanted to, if it's even in the minutes, some of the notes that we had about considering priorities like Berry Acres, trails, master plan, et cetera. So does anybody want to open the discussion? No?
So Peter broke it up into a few things. He talked about, and you just sort of referred to them. One of them was what we consider, what the factors are. So I'd like us to talk about that, because I think that's really
The
important.
factors for priorities?
Yep.
Yep, I like it.
Another thing is, as we go through these, I'd like us to think about or call out, this is just my suggestion, some standard processes that go along with these priorities. Or that sort of come to mind as you think about them, and also possibly the subgroups that might come out of them. So those are just my thoughts. And I have some suggestions for all of them, but I don't want to talk. If anybody,
Before you do, I think that's all good. Does anybody have any other comments, either reaction or otherwise? And then we'll sort of table everything and talk about the most common.
Well, I have some thoughts too about what the particular priorities are, but I didn't have much input in what you're suggesting to as priorities and stuff. I thought that would just evolve as the conversation happens. one of the biggest things I think, because we are combining the two trails groups together, from the old Upper Charles Trail, the Hopkinton State Park to East Main Street, I think should be included as a priority.
So we're jumping into priorities now.
We're just kind of, yeah.
I think he was just asking.
I'm looking for top of, people's reactions and then come back. But I agree with your comments. I think
Yeah, I do too. I'm just-
talking about criteria would be important. I'll second that.
Just one
Sean, do you have any comments?
place where we can record these, like there's a piece of white paper there. If we, I don't know,
Do you want to, well, are you sharing your screen? You can,
I can, yeah.
if you wanted to start a fresh Google Word doc or something, and
Mhm.
that'd be helpful. That way that.
The minutes already list 4 criteria, so we want.
Right.
Right.
There's some
Right,
others.
so we want to
Add to
either one of that or add. Yeah, but before we do that, any other comments or questions about what we should consider as we embark in this discussion about priorities?
I think we should just, yes, start with the criteria and discuss those and then jump into the actual projects.
Sounds good, Sean?
Yeah, I'm gonna save my thoughts right now.
Jack? No, okay. All right, so I agree. I think we should talk about our criteria to help us keep us focused and put some guardrails.
Does somebody want to read off the ones? Oh, I could just copy.
Sure, I can do that too. So the starting point, I think, from Peter seeded this discussion with funding availability is one of the criteria. Not necessarily in order, I don't believe. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Although important. Connectivity. Critical links. Arguably, maybe a form of connectivity or at least trail network. Interest, in terms of public interest and importance.
Sure.
Any others that people would suggest?
I think aesthetic beauty and just quality of the land that you're going through. Whether it's a first trail through that area or if it's just an additional trail. Like are you breaking new ground by putting in that particular, if it's a trail?
Mhm.
I think we should probably talk about accessibility for each trail so that it's somehow rated so that people can know what is being offered or planned or thought about.
So it's almost like not if it's accessible, but the level of accessibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Because there's no way you're gonna,
No, there's
certain
no,
trails are gonna be not
there's no,
for everyone and vice versa. Jack or anybody else for criteria?
I have some.
Yeah.
So timing,
And timing, can you elaborate?
uh,
Is that how long it would
like
take to?
when, no, well, maybe both, but when should the project be done?
Okay, so urgency type.
finish first. Are you talking about,
Just like urgency, like should it be done now or can't, and then another, okay, can it wait? Another question I really think we should ask is what if we don't do it? How does it hurt us? Like, I think that sort of makes you see whether something's really important or not. Compared to other things. How does it meet our charge and goals? Does it fill gaps that aren't otherwise being addressed?
So 50 goals.
and also you mentioned charter or our purpose or our charge?
Yeah, charge.
Charge. From the Board of Select Board, yeah.
I would add, I guess criteria, one of the criteria would be, is it low hanging fruit? If that's not an old beat up 80s term.
Or difficulty.
Yeah, level of difficulty to get it done. Like there could be some things that could be really easy and a victory for us
Mhm.
versus other ones that could be much longer. Not that we wouldn't do both, but it might dictate the order or our priority of each and our focus, how we spend our focus. So I would say ease of execution.
Why, it's the grid, high effort. with the low return is like the most priority.
Yep.
And low effort, highest return is the highest priority.
Yep.
And then we have the mixed match in between.
Yeah.
That grid.
I like it.
That's what you do is you take your projects and you put them in the grid and it helps you prioritize.
Yes.
That's what I would recommend. Once you figure out all the projects that. That's it.
Yep. Yeah, and then,
What's that?
I think that would save a lot of time.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
easy too.
Yeah, and I think things that people have mentioned here, and we've discussed in the past, would define what high value is. Like high value is connectivity, high value is high interest to the public. You know what I mean?
Well, I
Like,
would
so-
say, I would put it more
So
so
let's qualify what that means of high value.
conceptually, yeah, but I would say it's things that you can act on. Like, for example, to me, connectivity is too nebulous. It's
Yeah.
just.
But it's a high value. It creates, if something creates connectivity.
Well, it's a consideration, something to consider.
I would dig down a little bit further and say, all right, what does that mean? And, I think to what Jane said is that Hopkinton State Park is an example. I don't want to talk about it, but it is an example. Hopkins State Park to East Main Street, that to me brings a lot of connectivity as well as a whole bunch of other things. But that's going to be a high effort with a high return.
Yep.
Right? So it's in one of those mixed boxes.
Yep.
Also, I think just the way our town is structured and some of the wording that has been used in the past with grants and availability. Basically, existing sidewalks and roads can be used as connectivity pieces
Mhm.
by law. So that makes everything connectable.
Yeah,
But maybe just identifying.
Well, that's it, exactly. Is that when you're putting these projects together, you identify the connectivity.
Yeah.
But the connectivity does not necessarily dictate the priority.
no, but it's a benefit and it's a, like you said, it's one of many pieces of what creates potential high value or high benefit. That's what I'm saying. I'm kind of saying qualifying what's high benefit, qualifying,
Yeah.
not overbeating it, but qualifying what's easy versus hard, that's all.
Yeah.
As long as we agree on conceptually what we all think, then we can put them in the grid. We're not debating sliding something up or down or over, it's pretty straightforward. That's what I'm saying. So I'm on the same page, I think. Linda?
I'd like to expand on interest to the public and say who is best served and are we serving all the groups? Like, meaning who is best served by a certain thing? And is that a group that is currently underserved? Or like, how is that group served relative to other groups? Let me give an example, the kids' play area. Who does that best serve? Kids and families. How well do we currently serve kids and families with our other trails? I'm going to say not so well. So that's who it serves, and we're not currently serving tons of people like that. As an example.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, well, to no play on words, that you've picked interest as that segment. I would say that what you said is a gap. Like it's an unfilled need, which I guess would translate into an interest, but there's a lot of interest in a lot of things. To your point, are we all things to all people, or are we looking at our portfolio of trails and
Right,
saying,
portfolio.
we're overweighted here? Sorry to be investment guy.
Something for everyone and looking at our portfolio.
Yeah,
Like every time we come up with a new project, we should say, hey, how does this fill any gaps?
Yeah.
in who we're serving or where we're serving or what our charge
yeah,
is.
because if our portfolio had all rocky, narrow trails that were great for, mountain biking, then, and someone brought another one to the table and said, hey, I have another one. Like, okay, we have an opportunity for a flatter, more gradual, relaxing trail over here. Maybe we choose that
Exactly.
because our portfolio is light on that. I'll make it happen.
No, yeah, exactly.
For the impact, right? And so we're talking trails and whether it's kids in the playground, that's a demographic, right? And so you say, right, how many kids in town would be using this, right? And I'm gonna make an extreme example that doesn't exist, but let's just say there's 5 kids in town. Right? Would you do a playground for 5 kids? Probably not,
Mhm.
right? I know it's an extreme example that doesn't exist.
What generates all the metrics used in making these decisions?
But that's
a challenge.
Yes, it is, and then it becomes your opinion.
Some data. I mean, I really think we should have a list of what are our trails like and
I love this dialogue because I think a census or some form of a census are available. Because I'm thinking on the heels of it, sorry, David, I'm thinking on the heels of Sean's comment of this whole dialogue is like, let's take it that there's 10,000 kids, but in this one area that we want to put a trail, it's on the other side of town and it's an elderly community.
So I would,
We wouldn't put it there. So this,
to Linda's point here, it's this interest is who is impacted, how many people are impacted, and that would determine a high or low impact.
Yes, the benefit to the town, whatever our opinion of that benefit is, and we each would have our own opinions as to whether something benefits the town a lot, medium, or a little.
Correct.
that we each do, and so do people that make their opinions known to us
Mhm,
by whatever means, right?
mhm.
By telling one of us, or by sending us an email, or writing letters to the editor, all those types of things, we pay attention.
Well,
Listening
Public
to
interest.
other-
it's an example, recently we're doing a lot of work at Berry Acres, right? And we know that a lot of people live in the apartment complex.
Right.
Right, so we know that, and we're presuming they are using the trails, some of them, right? We have no bearing as to whether or not they all are using it or not, right? Of course, maybe it's just,
We know some are-
I would never make that statement. For all I know, there's only one person using it.
No, for sure, there's more than one.
Okay.
maybe through the trails.
I've seen two, Zach.
I mean, so that's my point. That there's no way to quantify how many people are using it. We're being presumptuous that because it's a highly concentrated
Right.
area of residents, that many of those residents are using the trail.
Yeah,
That's
that
an
is,
assumption.
that is a big assumption, yeah.
That's my point.
Yeah, and how far, depends on the type of trail, the audience,
And the type of resident as
how,
well.
how far they'll go to a certain trail and what they'll do. right?
Yeah, and
I think we're getting a little.
Yeah,
yeah.
All right, so, yeah,
I just wanted to say, I mean, we've kind of been narrowing down on, okay, well, these are all trail projects. What are the priority of the trail projects? There's a lot of other work that we
Yes.
should be doing, like the website, other means of outreach, listening sessions.
Mhm.
Just consider that in our list of criteria.
yep.
Right,
Yep.
so like, when we say, how does something fit our charge? Outreach and website are part of our charge.
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
So,
But does it improve critical links, connectivity, aesthetics,
It can help inform it.
accessibility? Well, yeah, right. And so then you say, okay, well, does that have a higher weight than, say, urgency?
Your funding.
Or funding for that matter?
There's a reason why Peter's Stream of Consciousness put that first, right? We don't have the money, we're not doing it.
I think all this is really good, but I think as we identify these projects, all of this other stuff is going to naturally
Yeah.
weigh into it.
Yeah.
We mentioned that.
Yeah,
Correct.
right, exactly. We should have that list of.
see, I'd actually like to have a pretty conscious list that we look at when
Yeah.
we go through the priorities.
Yeah.
Say, how does it match each of these?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we've got a good start on it right now.
Yes,
And then we can use this and we can add to it or subtract from it
Right,
as we take this and compare it to the projects.
and each project is going to be different.
Correct.
Linda, have you been able to gather some of the feedback here along the way in your notes?
Oh, no, it's,
You want to kind of read it back to level set people and then we'll
Well,
talk about what,
it's
you know, either,
listed here,
oh, there it is. Okay.
funding availability, connectivity, critical links, interest to public, aesthetic beauty and quality of land, which I'm not sure I quite understand, but
Which one?
aesthetic beauty and quality of land, could you just say more, have?
Well, if we're gonna put a trail through like a beautiful pine forest versus a trail,
Garbage.
I don't know, yeah, behind
Yes,
the dump or something.
yes, got it, okay.
But does it address connectivity?
It's just one criteria. It's one among the whole list.
Okay, first or additional work, first route. Additional work, accessibility,
Accessibility level, I think, is what Jane was suggesting, not just, it doesn't
Right, because
Which end-
it's kind of identify.
be accessible, like who's it accessible?
see, that's part of it, to me, who's being served.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't call it out separately.
Yeah.
Because not all our trails are gonna be accessible.
I know.
No,
But to someone they would, they say maybe, or we shouldn't do it at all, if it's impossible.
The factor to consider.
Okay,
Right?
No, you gotta worry about.
timing and urgency, outreach. I just added, what if we don't do it? How does it fit our charge and goals? How does it address gaps?
Okay.
And difficulties of execution, making an effort, return grid.
I would say if it doesn't fit our charging goals, we don't do it.
Right.
That's kind of
It
a factor.
it feels
How well does it fit it?
Okay.
Yeah, so like
the extent.
that's another thing we could argue about. The other bit. I mean, like that rail along Main Street there.
Right, no, I know you're trying to talk about.
So that's kind of the notes. Well,
Well, I
I'm in
think
favor of
we're
it,
like,
because I think it's easy for, at least I hope part of it is, but that's the only.
well, I guess I think of it more, not so much as how does it fit our charging goals? Because it seems pretty unlikely that we'll talk about many things that don't fit our charge, but more looking at the gaps. What part of our charge aren't we addressing? Like if we've done nothing about
Mapping.
mapping, or if we've done nothing about whatever, the Upper Charles, we're not meeting our goals.
Right.
So I feel like we should look at our charge when we're looking at priorities and make sure that we're not missing big ones on a regular basis, like it's a year or something. We need to prioritize.
So I think it's been a good discussion. I don't know if anybody has any other sort of big items to toss up here. But I wanted to kind of bring back, Sean, you're a very good structured, methodical thinker. Kind of putting you on the spot, so you can certainly defer. But you raised a point about a good traditional method for decision-making. Any thoughts, or anybody have any thoughts about what we do with these criteria and the next steps of how we transition into a decision-making process? Like a grid or a meeting, should we have a discussion? I don't want to overanalyze this stuff. I almost want to kind of try, like take our first candidates and apply it against this and evolve. So we're not, see what happens.
I think that's the best.
Yeah.
I think maybe trying to so here's my opinion. The priorities fall into 3 areas. This is just my thinking. One is trail work. That's what we traditionally talk about and do the most.
Mhm.
But to me, outreach is a big part of our charge too, and I think it should have its own priorities. And I believe planning work, things like what land should we be acquiring? What kind of contracts do we need to worry about? Things like the master plan, things like to me, those would end up being our 3 subgroups, and each of those should have its own priorities. It almost feels like this list that we got preceded is just about the trail work.
It's trail decisions.
Those others are just as important.
Yeah.
And when we think about what we're doing as a committee, we need to prioritize those other things.
Agreed.
Some areas. I'm not sure those are the 3 areas. Those are just the.
So can you say them again?
Sure, trail work, outreach, and planning kinds of things. That's where budget would come in, thinking about grants coming up. Like, I don't think all of us should have to learn about all the possible grants and all the details on them.
Yeah.
I think if a subgroup is charged with focusing on planning, one of the things they do is look into grants.
Yeah.
Do we-
So could we, for a second, because I think that would be,
Sorry, I'm-
Gary, no, that's a carry on to the next topic of subgroups, but absolutely agree, fair point, largely, not fully, but largely what we looked at as criteria as it relates to how to decide what we're focused on, what body of work. I think, and I don't know if it came out through Sean or someone else's comments, but I think the other outreach and communication are almost driven or actions to determine whether we continue down what we deem as our highest priority, you know what I mean? It's almost like validation. So we communicate and outreach to people to make sure that they agree with what we think is needed. Higher.
I think those things themselves are tasks and efforts that we decide to do or not to do
Right.
based on how our priority of those individual elements,
Yeah.
individual tasks.
Yeah.
I'm not following you guys. Can you say the difference?
So I'm not suggesting we don't have subgroups and focus on those other areas. I'm suggesting that we will need to do outreach, we'll need to meet with different stakeholder groups, we'll need to evaluate whether it fits gaps, I guess is sort of a different issue. We'll need to publish it on the website. We'll need to do some of the related activities, maybe through a subgroup, to validate what we deem as should be our focus areas and where we're going to spend our efforts. Separately, I think we've talked about as a past initiatives to prioritize engaging the public, right? That is definitely different from what we just talked about. And I think that's a worthy topic. But I'm suggesting that for this area, I kind of wanted to wrap this part up and then we could talk about the other 2 or 3 areas and then talk about what the reform subgroups.
Okay.
So I'm trying to wrap up this part of the discussion so we can figure out next steps.
Focus on trail projects and priorities for those.
yes,
Okay,
yeah.
as long
Like,
as,
what's the next step for that? And then let's talk about
as
the
long
other.
as people agree, we should have priorities for those other things that don't fall into.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We'll talk about that in a few minutes
Okay.
here tonight
Okay,
as our the priorities, but I just want to wrap up this part of the discussion.
okay.
Does that work for you guys? Like, what are the next steps as it relates to trail priorities?
Well, so that's the thing, it's so, there's, I mean, we're a group of 9, right? And so let's just say hypothetically, I mean, I love painting really egregious examples because it just points out like where the thought process can fall. Is that we all grab just trails projects. Right? No public outreach, no funding, and so boom, that other stuff just falls. And you're like, all right, this is the criteria we're using is just for trails. And I agree with Linda that those other priorities, you have to figure out a way to bubble it up.
Yep.
And you gotta say, okay, well, we only have, these are the projects that we have. Let's just say we have a list of 50 projects. And you gotta chunk it down. And you say, all right, how do we prioritize those 50? And that's really what we're talking about.
It seems to me that some of the things that she's talking about, you need to do those to set your priorities and your projects. For example, townwide mapping would be very interesting in how you rate projects in terms of connectivity. Outreach would be critical, see whether you're actually reaching people and people like what you're doing.
Yeah, interest of the
So
public.
those things are, I mean, like.
So I would say that those
If
were.
you have a criteria that said, gaps, for example, and then you have no information on how you define a gap, what is a gap, then how do you apply it to the criteria?
I agree. The dependencies,
Yeah, they're completely.
right? And so you say, all right, the dependencies would be part of the priority. Like, is this dependent upon something else?
Right.
Or something else dependent on this.
Okay, so do you guys think that, do you guys want to talk about those enablers or whatever as priorities?
I think we're
Or
getting too deep.
Yeah, I think
It's just,
Yeah,
get to the meat of this.
Yeah, I kind of think, yeah,
Do something.
yeah, I kind of want to say that, okay, from take an approach. At next meeting, have an agenda item where we actually have a couple trail segment candidates that are put forth. We try as a group for maybe 30 minutes, talk through and apply some of this criteria.
We have a list of stuff, right?
Can't we do that?
Oh, we could do it today.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's.
So I think so this would be my proposal. Tonight, we get through trails priorities. So I'm just gonna throw a straw man out there. Everybody lists the top 3 to 5 trail projects that they think we should focus on. And then we look at them compared to these criteria. And then we bubble that list into one cohesive top 3, top 5, whatever. Then maybe for next meeting, if we agree to outreach and planning as other groups, we spend next meeting focusing on those priorities. I'm just throwing this out there. I'm not saying this works, but.
It's a reasonable suggestion. Anybody else have any comments?
Well, I think we have a list, and maybe an alternative was just go through that list. And we could all individually give it a rating 1 through 5. Based on these criteria,
That would work.
add up the number.
So, because we have a few.
We have candidates. I don't know if we have complete.
Yeah, candidates, exactly. And we prioritize those candidates and we narrow it down to a list that we're actually going to take action on.
Okay, and that would just be for trails tonight.
Yeah.
If we have time, we can start working on. the-
Yeah, I still want to talk about the other focus areas though.
Mhm.
tonight.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
It's
so
part of our charter.
the one, I like thematically, I like the suggestion, but I'd be concerned that we would all rate it and number it differently.
That's fine.
I would think that what we'd want to do is emphasize what criteria we think it meets based on the list.
Yeah, we
For
can
people to understand where people are coming from and.
bring up a candidate, we can all comment on it.
Yeah,
And then after we all have a chance to comment, we all
Yeah.
vote individually.
yeah,
We're not gonna try to get consensus.
right.
That's just gonna take forever. We'll just vote, consider it individually. We'll vote 1 through 5 individually.
Yep.
And each one will come up with a number and then rank them low to high or high to low, and that's our priorities. We take the
We can
top
have
3.
discussion though about,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's all I'm suggesting is
Yeah.
to get into people's heads a little bit.
yeah,
Right, because there's probably a lot of things about that particular proposal that other people are not aware of.
mhm.
Yeah, we should discuss them before
Oh, we have
voting.
funding for projects.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's one of the
that's the
criteria.
criteria.
Probably.
That's kind of a slam dunk. How is that prioritized? That's different, but you know, creating the list, I would say,
Prioritizing among
the ones that we've already approved.
So what's our list then? Do we want to I'll start listing them here?
Well, just the funding budget that I sent to you earlier
Can
today.
you read them off to me or should I open that up?
But didn't Peter send out a list?
Jason?
Oh, hold on, sorry, guys. So I think it's a good suggestion. Let's look at the funding list first.
Projects that have.
If you have that, you can share that, the screen, the
That's
folks
my
in the
recommendation.
meeting can also, that are online can also see it. That'd be great.
And I
Yeah,
wouldn't call them,
Those are the ones should consider first.
well, they got funded, right?
Yeah.
We don't have to go for funding.
If only the internet would work, I could do that.
Well, Chamberlain,
I don't have it.
Here,
there was two, no, I don't. There was 2 Chamberlain projects.
I got it.
Oh, you got it, okay.
And I think it was called phase 1 and phase 2.
Hold on.
All right, so Linda's gonna pull up the list. I like the idea. Now, what's the suggestion that we all sort of just mark our own notes? Is that what we're gonna do, or I didn't quite follow that process?
Well, I think we should bring up a candidate. We can each discuss, we can each comment on as to why we think it's high or low or whatever. When everyone is done talking, you don't have to put a comment if you have no opinion. When everyone is done, we'll each individually rate it
Rated, yeah.
and then add up all our ratings.
It's just so slow. I feel like I'm in the 80s.
Nope.
So we have the Chamberlain projects. Do you have anything else?
East Main.
Go.
East Main, and East Main is kind of big because we're talking about parking lot as well as.
I think it's 2 different projects. One is the parking lot.
Then we don't get the too, but it's all, we have like 40 grand.
And the trails,
And the trails, and then then the state park, to East Main, that I see there's multiple.
Well, that thing we already are,
What?
Yeah.
No, we're talking about trails that we have funding,
Yeah, you're
right?
The parking lot has been funded. And then the Upper Charles Trail piece from Hopkinton State Park.
Right, correct. I put them all into the same
Yeah.
bucket, right? I'm thinking there's one trail
Right, but
system
there's 3 segments.
right now, yeah, that's been funded for in some part.
Yes,
Berry Acres has been funded for in some part.
correct.
Then we have the bridge on behind the Woodville Station,
Yeah.
yeah.
right? That bridge by the Woodville Rod and Gun. I think they call it the Fruit Street Trail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, connector to Fruit Street.
Chuck, hopefully you can hang in, because I wanted to get an update later on in the meeting about the Concom meeting last night. But that'll be in probably about 30 minutes, I think.
So, okay, so we have Chamberlain Phase 1. And Chamberlain, these are the ones that are already funded. Chamberlain Phase 2.
Oh, there you go, on the screen, okay.
I'm just trying to get them out of the table because that's hard to work with. The middle school cross country was on there.
Mhm.
On Trailhead Ash Street Park,
Those are already partially funded or wholly funded?
fully funded. Right, Sean?
She's talking about the middle school trail.
Cross and the Ash Street Park, fully funded.
That's funded as well, yeah.
It's also largely implemented.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, it's in the final. Right.
No, parking at Ash Street is funded, but hasn't started yet.
Yeah.
Right.
Isn't the middle school cross-country in process?
Well, it's a usual trail for that. It needs another coat.
Okay. All right, well, we'll talk through the list. And what's the second, this is also funding list, why they in two tables?
Because one is CPC budget, one is
Oh, got it.
town budget, so I just get them all up there. Everybody just take 3 breaths while I do.
Can I bring up another little project that, so we've been talking about the East Main Street to Hopkinen State Park thing, but a particular easy or potential easy part of that could be done separately from the rest is to simply enable access from the housing development down the easement to the trails that are already present that are in Ashland. So the reason I bring that up is it basically requires just cutting some weeds. Doesn't require much more than that, but there may be permissions that are necessary in order to do that. Do you have a sense of that, Jane? You know what I'm talking about?
Well, one of the things that I've been advocating for is a debriefing from the segment 1 block that we did. Because what came from that was a difference of opinion of should that even exist? And are we going to plot in the path? So we haven't even done that debriefing yet.
In fact, the entrance.
From where to where? No, he's talking about
I'm talking a different
the
thing.
path from the back of the Lakesie Farms apartment houses down to Hopkinton State Park.
It's like a gas line, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
All right, well, let's go back to focus this. We can,
Going another way.
we
That
can-
should be talked about in the debrief.
yeah, we can
I don't
add
know if we want to.
But Jane has a good point. I don't know if we have time, but we should add that to next agenda. We didn't do that debrief.
No, we
Oh,
didn't.
you certainly ought to do that.
Yeah, if you don't mind, and then you can bring that topic up, Kenny.
My next topic, so
I got it.
Well, I mean, it's related.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we have,
it's not really.
well, the East Main Street parking is on the list, yeah?
Yep.
Berry Acres Bridge, they got 5 bridges and boardwalks, the Woodville Fruit Street Bridge. And then the preliminary engineering segment, which was, right, that was, what I'm calling that the East Main Street is kind of in there too.
No, I agree.
No.
Two different things.
Well, I just,
Yeah, that's what he's saying. They're all sub-projects of the
Okay.
same big project.
It's all right. It's all the same.
All right, so let's just try to focus a little bit. So we're gonna go through these candidates, top to bottom. Is one the highest or lowest in the
Funded. Are
understood?
there any, what?
I'm sorry, good.
Are there any projects like the one Ken just brought up perhaps that aren't on here that we want to consider?
if they're less than 30.
I'm missing something. This list of projects are all underway. I think they're all funded. And for example, the Chamberlain Street, Chuck's going to the Concom.
Yeah, that's one of the items on tonight's agenda.
Why are we
Prioritize.
prioritizing these? Because they've already.
That's why I was asking.
Are we gonna cancel one of these? No,
No, but we want to know the timing. When are we going to,
but they're all.
we talk about it as a
They are.
committee?
No, I wouldn't say that. You wouldn't make that
Not the-
comment,
not the
Jack.
wood.
Some of them are. Some of them are in progress and some are moving, but when I think of prioritization, it's like, where do we want to spend our time?
Yeah, in our meetings.
Yeah, because
we're
Woodville
talking
to
about
Fruit
it.
Street is
Not
not,
just in our meetings, but outside the meetings.
Because we can do a lot of sub.
Woodville to Fruit Street is not in process.
We can have a lot.
I mean, there's a couple on the list that are, but yeah, that's why I asked the question. All right, so, sorry.
They're more than concepts.
Okay,
More than concept.
Yeah,
All right,
Some
so,
of them are really.
so can
The
we,
Chamberlain one is on its way to being done.
work in progress.
sorry, so to Jack's point, I agree. I think we should remove the items we think that are not, are have their own trajectory, to use Jack's term, and we believe if that they'll already have focus.
I don't think we should
Take a
remove
lot of
anything.
time to talk about here. And the timing may be affected. Like maybe we don't start the trailhead parking at Ash Street because we want to focus on Chamberlain right now. Like, I
Well,
really,
no, I'm saying the ones that are actually already in progress, like, isn't,
they take our.
I think we need to make a rule then. And the rule has to be, we don't do anything about these and talk about them until we approve them. Because a lot of these, we've had meetings on Ash Street, we've gone there, we've created an expectation that's gonna be done. I mean, and are we really gonna say, well, we're not going to change?
No, I think that's another way to
That's a matter of time.
sorry, one at a time, though. Sorry, let's help Linda.
Right.
I think it's what Jane said, it's timing, it's when are we gonna do the trailhead on Ash, the parking on Ash Street?
Right.
It's not, in this case, it's not if, the priority will end up resulting in the when.
Correct.
Okay, Jane?
I think there is a tremendous amount of work just looking at our list, and we're only 9 people. To many people's suggestions, if we can amongst ourselves, 2 or 3 people take a project, work on it on our own, and then report back, do a bulk of the work, reach out and contact people, get a hold of the engineering firm, whatever.
That's how we would tackle what we decided to.
Then bring it back to the committee. So to Jack's, to alleviate some of your angst, because it,
I have no angst.
no, whatever it might be.
I'm angst free.
It would just be a way of kind of tackling some of these things. If we take a look at 9 things and we each take on a couple of things.
Yeah, so that's how we'd execute it, but we want to get to the list. So I guess,
Can
I know,
raise one more?
sorry, just let me make one point and then I'll come over here. So there are some things in flight. Up to this point, we've lacked structure in terms of how we've done and what we've done. So therefore, very valid point, Jack, that we have been pushing a lot of balls forward, and then largely it's been on our chair's shoulders, because as we gave him feedback, because he's doing a ton of work, right? As
And
his
we
job.
voted to give money to them.
Right, so we voted that we're committed to doing them, but it's when and how we channel our energy.
And I
So,
think
Linda?
Just also would like to say that just because we got money for something and voted to do it, doesn't mean we have to do it. I'm not saying we shouldn't. I'm just saying we may have bitten off more than we can chew with money. I don't know, but,
Well, then it would go-
but I do want to raise that point that it's possible we won't get to some of
I
these.
think that'll come up in the discussion.
Oh,
That
effective.
actually may go down to the bottom of the priority list.
Right.
So how scalable or how much we get done is another point.
And one thing we should think about is when the funds expire. Not, they're all funded, but some of them have different rules about when the funds have to be used by, and that may affect the timing too.
So would you like to at least go down the list, prioritize, if people have feedback that they think it's a fait accompli, then they can raise that for people's consideration. Or if they think it's, lower priority, et cetera. Should we go down the list and discuss it? Is that what we
Done with that.
Is this all of the lists?
I don't think it is.
Oh, I thought, sorry.
Funded? Are they, is that,
This is a list of funded, and
Okay.
then I added the thing you just brought up, Ken.
I don't think that should be added right now, because I think we should concentrate on the stuff that we have already committed ourselves to one way or
I
another.
agree, because this is already a 30 to 40-minute discussion up on the screen.
Yeah.
So if there's new candidates, I think, I don't want to get too big here, but we need an intake process too
What you think?
to vet things.
I think we ought to be putting up all the projects. I thought that's.
Well,
what
I
we're
think
doing.
that's
All the trail projects that are possible, like what else would you add?
I think they would just, the other ones we've discussed, as Jack brought up, going between basically downtown Hopkinton, the senior center area and Hopkinton State Park. So that's definitely a project. I just don't want it to get left behind and never thought of again.
Here's,
Maybe don't just-
tell me if my interpretation of what the group discussed and David suggested is wrong, because it could be. I wasn't thinking we're leaving today and we have a number one priority of this list and we're saying we're going for it today. I thought we were going to rank and discuss in digestible numbers, items, and we decide, if we rank 20 things or 5 things before we start, determining higher priorities. I didn't, just in one meeting, we're not gonna get through. I think we have like 25 or 30 things on our list, like
Yeah.
a couple months.
Yeah.
Do you agree? So I again, so that's the concern, that your concern, it wasn't mine, because I didn't think it was a discrete list and we're not adding anything else to the list. That wasn't my thinking of this discussion. I thought we're ranking, but,
Yes, this
but it's not,
was-
it's absolute ranking. It's not 1 through 5. It's giving them value. I thought we were starting. Is that everybody else? Am I?
No, I was reading this. I don't.
Well, ultimately, they'll fall into a ranking by the values we collectively assign to them.
Mhm.
But there could be, out of the exercise, after we rank, we do this exercise across maybe 25 items or 25 suggestions, and new ones come in. We could do it and say, there are 10 number ones of all equal value. Then we have to keep, determining what we're gonna focus on.
I think eventually we will, what I would tell us is draw the line, say,
Yeah.
if it's, our line is here, if it's above the line, we work on it.
Yeah.
If it's below the line, we don't work on it, we don't talk about it until we clear out some stuff above the line. And then we can bring stuff
We have
up.
certain capacity, and it's gonna be a short list.
Yeah.
That's,
Well, it depends how effective we are, both as a group and as individuals.
Right. And I'm not suggesting the things like the discussions we had with Concom and the other things that we've discussed and we're moving forward, those are still activities that are happening until we determine not, you know what I mean? To retrench and pull back. I think we have to keep the lights on.
Mhm.
We have to keep moving forward. My hope is by next meeting, we are clear on the top 3 priorities would be the goal. But again, to my point, I don't think we can discuss everything in one night. I just think it's a lot.
Okay,
You
so,
guys can,
can you just summarize what we're gonna do? Because we went on for a while, so I just, no, it wasn't that. I just.
no, it's a fair point.
Bottom line of.
Yeah, the bottom line is that we have a digestible list
Mhm.
in front of us.
That includes
That
new
in-
things too, not just the.
We added a couple new things. If the group wants to consider those tonight, I'm fine with that too, if it's digestible. In terms of digestible, meaning we have time to discuss it and vet it and give it a valuation that we think it deserves in terms of level of priority or I'm calling it priority, but it's like a number value, I think. And then next meeting, between next meeting, we should have candidates that go through the chair, that we have our next list, and maybe, by that point, we'll start to have things bubble up, and we should say, because we shouldn't suffer analysis paralysis. We'll be here for another 10 meetings in a year and still be vetting.
Yeah.
We shouldn't do that. We should try to draw the line and move forward. So that's what my understanding was, Ken, so that's why I wasn't so concerned about something not appearing on the list, because I actually wanted time to think about it and look at the bigger list, because I thought there was again, I had 26 or something in my head.
I
I don't know
don't
if anybody else remembers.
like that.
But our very
We have
first
a
meeting,
list of-
we had a bunch of items on a list.
Projects?
Of
Categories, those are more county.
we had trails. I thought we had trails and Cygnus. There was a big list that I
I
thought.
think Peter mailed that out as well.
A list of segments.
I don't remember.
Not just segments, no.
The spreadsheet I keep of work that's needed, but they're not usually.
Not new or extensions. Okay.
There's not much that isn't already covered on here except for things
Maybe,
like
maybe I'm misremembering.
bridge cutting,
Maybe I'm going back to the UCTC, the Upper Charles Davidson, the list, but there should be candidates, but at any rate,
I think this is a lot of work right here. So
I suggested we start going down the list and see how it plays out.
Yeah,
I'd like to do that. So if anybody would like to start, if you just want to go around the room.
some stuff.
let's start at the top.
I would like to have connector trail phase 1, the loop, and phase 2 defined, because I
Yeah.
don't really know what the difference is.
Yeah, I don't either.
Does anybody know the difference between phase 1 and phase 2?
I think so. I would have to
Yeah.
answer that question for that.
Chuck, are you here?
No, he's not.
He may have stepped away for a minute.
I mean, we've already got,
Chuck, are you online? I think.
Yeah. Sorry for the pause, a little hearing aid adjustment. My guess is that, there's 2 ways to look at it. The funding, I think, was first, there were, I believe, 2 batches of funding requested. so that may be what what the 2001 and 24 are. The, you could look at it that phase one is what was completed first, or mostly completed, which is the connection from Field 13 out to Chamberlain. And then the natural surface trail on up to connect to where the Stone Dust Trail is going in. And then phase two, which is still awaiting approval, is the Stone Dust Trail connecting from the Loop Road north of Field 11 out to near the cul-de-sac. That's my only guess. I don't know.
It
It
was,
sounds very.
How that was set up.
if it helps, it was $47,000 and 60,000, and the 47 was obviously 2021. And the 60,000 was in 2024.
Chuck, is it fair to say these are really one big project?
They are, although they're done under two separate permits, and the nature of the trail is separate, and one is effectively completed except for some cleanup on the trail surface, and the other is still pending.
But the way, when you by pending, you mean that's the one in front of the Concom?
Right.
Right, so it's pending, but it's,
The
it's
second one.
There's nothing.
it's been filed with the Concom and you have the hearing tomorrow night?
We,
No, yeah,
we had, we had the hearing last night, which I can report on whenever it's
Well,
appropriate.
yeah, it's appropriate now, I think, of its criteria. I
I
suppose.
think we need to understand
Okay.
what work is left for us
That's
to do on these.
I do.
Yeah.
So Chuck, do you want to give a quick update on?
Sure.
on kind of where
Yeah,
you believe
the, I want to preface this by saying that I think we've learned a little bit from this process in terms of when it makes sense to try and save money and when not. But the hearing last night was cordial. I think ultimately, yes, we will have approval, but we have a couple of hoops to jump through. One is that because of the delay between the wetland flagging and the hearing, when there are some wetland flags that are missing that Beals and Thomas had placed, which will need to be reset. I think I can do that without bringing them back in. The other is that we used, their mapping used GPS for the wetland flags and for the trail location. And given the variability in the GPS locations, that meant some lack of clarity, lack of precision in the locations. Peter and I had checked it out on the ground to make sure that in spite of that lack of precision, it would work and without wetland encroachment. But on the plan, there are some close places, and the commission is concerned that due to the potential inaccuracies in the GPS locations, that needs to be checked. We will be doing that with the commission and their representative. I don't see that that's a major issue. The other item remaining is that in spite of the fact that the Hughes Trail, which is very similar, following an existing path, Stone Dust Trail, no stormwater management checklist was required. The DEP commented that a checklist is required, and that will require Beals and Thomas engineer making out the checklist and submitting it, indicating that there is no feasible way to further minimize this potential stormwater impact for this trail, which I think is.
So Chuck, if I may, so is it safe to say then all the comments or feedback are of no concern?
A concern only that it means a little time and money.
I mean, it's a delay, but anyway, it's not like a showstopper, I guess.
No, definitely not a showstopper. And the next hearing is, the hearing was continued. Yeah, I'm sorry. The hearing was continued until September 9th. Hopefully we will have all the pieces in place by then. And should get final sign off then. And then there's a 10 business day appeal period. Once the order is issued, which can be a couple or 3 weeks, before work could actually be in, before we could go out for bid.
Chuck, is there a expiration of that? In other words, do we have to get the work done within a certain amount of time as well? Or is it more?
The order is good for 3 years, and it can be renewed under most circumstances.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Who is managing this and running with it?
Exactly.
Sounds like Peter and Judge.
Yeah, essentially, I would say that it's Peter and I and then working with Beals and Thomas.
Okay, I'd give that a 5.
It's 5 meters high or low?
Yeah, high.
Oh, okay.
On a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being high.
We want to finish it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's all going, we just gotta get it through.
Safe to say that connector 1, since it's nearly completed at 5, we're not going to halt that?
No, we can.
You guys
I
agree?
want to know what needs to get done to complete it.
I
Like,
think
how do we
it's that
check the
cleanup.
box?
Chuck, is it an extra, the last code or something you said, or?
The earth surface trail from field 13 to Chamberlain and then north to where the new connector will be is all cleared. It's but the surface is there's still quite a few roots and some stones. It is basically now a very hikeable, even a carefully runnable trail. I think Peter eventually envisions it being having a little smoother surface for the cross-country runners. That will take some handwork, a little fill, or maybe some wood chips in a variety of places.
But is it the sort of thing that could be dealt with, Chuck, by just ordinary start of the
Yes.
month trails
I think,
activities?
I think over time, volunteer effort, some wood chips, which you can get almost for free, and maybe a little bit of earth fill. We can do that, yes.
So again, you started to say a comment. What were you going to say? Our work is,
Yeah, so I think a work day can just about finish that lot. And if not,
Maybe a couple.
well, maybe some.
but it may,
Just regardless, it's definitely the realm's possibility of getting done before the end of the fiscal year.
But the point is that our committee doesn't have to do much about it.
Well, our committee's in charge of work days now.
Well, somebody's gonna manage it. Ken.
Okay.
Are we?
That hat came up at the last Trails.
Okay, that's true.
well, let's talk about that other business, but yeah, I heard.
So who's the point person on that one?
On the first,
On the committee,
Is that still Chuck and
Yeah, Peter is a committee member.
Peter and Chuck?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so comments on one first. I think people jumped.
Oh, no, I would not prioritize them right now.
No, ranking. I thought we were giving numbers, no? Or is it just comments?
I would like
I heard
to,
five.
I'd like to have the backstory of all of them before I start ranking them.
No, not ranking, sorry, like a number value. I thought we were gonna assign number values, because Dave gave a 5.
Right, but if you're gonna, if you, but, all right, I'm gonna give them all 5, just arbitrarily, just because I'd like to know what we're talking about with each one before I start prioritizing.
Six-way tie.
For fun, could we look at the criteria we talked about and just say how these apply to it? I know it's a fait accompli, but I think it would be good to say if we were voting on, looking at the criteria when we voted on these.
Sure.
So funding available.
I would like to talk about the list in more detail to say, what are we talking about before we have context of the other criteria?
So you want to go through all those?
Wants to go through it.
It's for each one as we go through. So I wanted to look at these two projects, both have funding available. How do these projects do connectivity? Are they critical links? What's their interest? in
Yes, yes.
I would put it on a grid and not try to do that tonight. I don't think we have the
I
time.
think he's, what I'm hearing,
It's hard. He just went through 4 of them in 1 second. You know,
Well, we didn't talk about it. Like he says, yes. Do I agree with him? Maybe not. Yeah, that's just.
Well, you don't have to agree. That's the nice thing about individually voting is we don't have to get consensus.
I agree.
but this is what we should, if you want to talk about them, this is what we should be talking about, our criteria.
All right,
In my opinion, it's just that once we
We
have
didn't talk about criteria.
yeah, so
That's a great point.
I'm gonna jump in. So we have to nail, I realize we have to nail down the process because we have some differing views. So, I'm fine with going through and vetting so everybody understands all the items. I don't know if everybody else is, but I think I'm fine with Sean's suggestion. Go through so everybody understands all the different items on the list at least. And if then at that point, we have time, people believe they want to start determining when we go into assigning, I think it's values, but I might be confused.
Criteria.
criteria.
We assign criteria, we will at least know what we're assigning the criteria against. Instead, Linda, you're saying take it linearly, one at a time.
Because.
I'm indifferent if you want me to make a decision.
You know, otherwise, I don't know, I could see you doing it either way, but it feels like we're talking about those trails now. Why not talk about how they meet the criteria or don't? But maybe doing it afterwards too.
Because the way I see it is the criteria is being used to help with prioritization.
Yes, exactly.
So it's information sharing and understanding first, applying to criteria and rating.
Okay, so all we're doing first is describing the projects.
Okay. So then now are we on the middle school cross country, right?
Mhm.
We all have good eyes, so.
Yes, that's what we're.
Can someone tell me what that is? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what that is either.
I'm not, I wrestle with
It's a little bit.
You go for it.
Okay, there's an existing cross-country trail that spurs off Center Trail that heads towards the middle school. Peter's spent a lot of time actually already implementing this. It needs possibly more drainage work. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
There's been some washouts. So this kind of is in just, yeah,
Okay, so I'm on the Center Trail.
yeah.
Is it the trail that goes off to the left that comes off behind by the entrance to the football field? Is that trail? Is that
Yes,
the trail?
it heads towards the middle school from the center trail.
Okay, yeah.
So it's just that it needs a little more work. I
Pretty
think,
much did that.
yes, it's already usable, the cross-country team, I
Needs
think already
maintenance.
uses it. It just needs maintenance.
Yeah.
And I believe it may need a little more surface as well, but it's pretty much a trail that, it's kind
The
of,
trail is complete.
it's kind of like the Center Trail in a lot of ways south, which also needs maintenance
Right,
occasionally.
I mean, I run on it all the time.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
It's not like, it's very different than
It
the
is.
other channel ones,
It
where
is.
it'd be very difficult.
Why is it on this list if it's complete?
$1,000 assigned to it, is that what it would take to do the drainage work and the surface
Probably.
work?
Yeah, I think that's right. It's finishing
Okay.
off money on the associated.
So is it not a trail stay kind of thing? Because it
No.
involves
No,
drainage work?
It's more labor intensive in that you're gonna have to bring in Phil, maybe even the engineer at Chuck or something.
Okay.
Chuck,
Possibly so.
do you know, is this?
He's in Santa. Go ahead, Chuck.
No, just regarding the cross-country trail, I think, no, it's not a workday thing. The contractor still owes some work on it, as I understand. And it is going to take some more material, possibly some relocation of some of the culverts he's put in, a little bit of regrading. That just because of the nature of the watershed that trail is in and the slope on it, that's one that it would have benefited from some actual design work before it went in. But we can make it work now. But it's going to take more than just a workday crew.
So there is an existing contract signed and someone's hired?
My understanding is that the contractor who put it in originally still has, that there still is money there that he is supposed to use to complete and do some restoration work.
Okay.
So I mean, the budget's the $4,000 now,
Yeah.
right? So that sounds about right, I guess. I don't know what's entailed, but the story lines up.
Yeah.
So who's the point person on that? Is that Peter as well? Peter.
Peter, yeah.
Did we sense a bottleneck here?
Or, well, I would say bottleneck, but I'd say someone that's working really hard.
Yeah, there we go. Do we sense an overload?
And overload, yeah, him and Chuck.
Okay.
Okay,
Chuck's less.
are we ready to move on to the trailhead parking at Ash Street? Does anybody have any questions about this one?
No.
The only question I have is like, I'm not sure where it stands.
As far as I know, we have a conceptual design, but meaning where we're gonna not go with the 2 spaces and all that and take
Just
down
do
the
the
tree.
one, right?
Yeah, what's the one?
Step?
So, but there has not been any steps move forward as far as I know.
I thought the only next step was was get the work done.
Bring someone in with material and make the parking spot, yeah.
I didn't.
Make a single spot.
Yeah, but as far, I mean, we should have voted if we were gonna hire a contractor to do that work, I would think, so I
Did
don't,
we?
no.
No.
No. Well, that's the thing is I think the action is to find, if that's the task, is to find a contractor to do it, get the contract, bring it before.
Bring the material in and spread it out.
Exactly. So that's the action item on that.
Yeah,
Okay.
But getting a contractor also probably involves writing a scope of work and.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah, should be pretty quick, but yes.
Have kind of the, at least sort of one. for that.
We have a bunch, I mean, this is a common thing that's been done.
No, but we have it for this project because we all got to look at it. It may have changed a little since then.
You mean the.
Proposal toward.
Yeah,
We have a proposal for what it is, but we don't have a scope of work for
What the-
getting the contractor and bringing it to do it.
Piece of equipment, take out.
We have a estimated budget.
Yeah,
Take down a tree, yeah.
yeah.
Are we,
It has approved budget, right?
yes, we did.
Mhm.
So does anybody have any further discussion? Want to move on to preliminary engineering segment 1? I think we've talked about this a lot too as a group, right? Does anybody have any questions?
Besides the
Jane.
debrief,
We have to,
and then we have to go through that.
we have to do the debrief and align on exactly what the scope of that preliminary is.
I thought
And
we
next
just
steps.
the scope and
We
send
It's just for the parking lot.
The parking lot only,
For
not
the parking lot and for the mapping, so that's.
Okay,
Which is different from segment 1.
Yes.
gosh.
So
So that's the next one, really. The East Main Street parking lot is no, wait, so the mapping, is that part of?
That's already been approved.
No, wait, is
that's not considered.
a preliminary engineering segment?
No,
one?
that's all.
It's part of the parking.
It was separate. It was separate. Yeah.
Yeah, this is separate one.
That's why
It's
this,
not on the list because it's already,
It's been done? What is,
well, the mapping we just voted on.
but it's, okay, but it should be on the list then, right?
yeah, I think the Main Street is 3 segments.
You're gonna put it on the list.
That's fair, yeah, because, just because we voted doesn't mean we do it tomorrow, you're right.
We voted on it tonight?
We voted the money.
No.
Technically, we did.
The mapping?
No, we did that 7
Technically, we
meetings
did.
ago.
No, but that's.
Because the meeting wasn't, okay, didn't count. Okay, mapping project Wait for the internet to decide to come back.
So yeah, so right now we have, I think, 3 things on the list that are like the East Main Street.
Correct.
Right? The connection from Hopkins State Park to East Main Street,
Right.
the parking lot, and then the mapping of the trails south of Legacy North.
Associated with the parking.
Correct.
Can everybody just?
So all connected.
So the internet decides it wants to work again? Because I can't,
Articulate it perfectly so he can,
All right. And
Linda's, Peter's not responding, but
well, it's frustrating. I don't know what
Google,
to do.
or Google Drive.
it's the internet. I got nothing. I'm just frozen.
You know what? It's coming back. I just noticed it.
Okay,
It looks like it went down and now the line is saying it's connecting again and disconnected. So
okay. If we could just wait 1 minute, it would be helpful.
it's the Russians.
How do you know?
Kansas.
Did you get it?
No,
Does it show that you're active?
no.
Oh, we lost someone or no? That's you. We lost you.
Hmm. I can't move or anything.
Okay. Well, we can,
Let me, I can't even. So you're back.
I'm back connected, yeah. And it's pretty strong signal.
I can't even shut down. I'm like so frozen.
Well, could you want to just read it? I thought there was a screen coming down, you know, the old screens.
Yes, it does feel like it.
It's like, does someone have another option here?
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
And come back.
Sorry,
Maybe.
folks on the phone.
It's not the internet. I'm not even coming back. It is the Russian.
What was next on the list? We were talking about segment 1. We could continue to talk about it if we need to. Anybody have any questions?
Well, I see East Main Street as 3 different projects. And, right, well, at least, right, until we start breaking it down even more. Is the connectivity from Hopkins State Park to East Main Street. The task there is to debrief our walkthrough and start to chunk down where the next task. So the second project associated with East Main Street is the parking lot. And the task with that, I'm not sure exactly what the next action item is. Like,
You said, sorry, the parking lot?
parking lot, I don't know what the
Yeah,
next,
we don't know where.
where it stands or what's the next step. for
Well,
that.
we approved the money for the park.
We did it for the money.
We waited.
There was feedback from the gas company.
Do
Right.
you mind if I use your laptop?
You can use it, sure. Here's my email. Do you want to just email it to me? I can open it up for you?
Computer's fried.
What do you, oh, you can't email it to me though. So,
It's up on Drive.
okay, you do it. Here,
Okay. I don't know what happened.
you're at Google now, but you're in my email, so you can buy yourself something
I
nice.
don't-
All right, so, you were saying.
I don't know where it stands.
Oh, yeah. So Peter's feedback from the gas company, my understanding was they wouldn't let us surface. Remember he told us?
Well, no, we could, you're right, we couldn't.
Over the driveway.
We could have on the,
Travel on top of that.
that's right, I think the action item was to get in contact with the gas company.
I believe you did.
He did, and they said that they would not, let us surface it. So we could drive over it, we couldn't surface it. So then at that point, I think we didn't have a follow-up and any action, but the idea would be the next body of work, the next project would be to, again, clear and surface.
What's the next action item?
Well, it's just us deciding whether we wanted to move forward, and if so,
Okay,
getting a bid, hiring someone, that's my understanding.
okay,
I don't know for sure, but
so the next action item is,
he's doing what we're doing
what's that?
doing what we're doing tonight, figure out where it sits on priority and whether we do it.
But I think also the other thing is, I think Peter had a discussion with Elaine about it.
Yes.
If the town had any influence with the gas company, because I'm sure there are interactions, and it's a fairly modest ask.
He said it's pretty hard to move to get results from them. It's a,
Well, it's,
yes,
Do you have our Google Drive folder bookmarked or anything?
no,
Oh,
you don't have them memorized. I might have it, I don't know. I've been in it, actually. I can go back into it, my emails if you want. As you know, I was in it with you and Andy a lot last couple weeks. Sorry, Jack.
No, I think the point is that I've dealt in the past with people like Kinder Morgan, all those decisions are made in Houston. The easiest thing for Elaine to say is no, they can.
No,
So I think the ask of Elaine was, is there any way the local people could intervene and say this would be
The,
a good
the,
thing to do for the.
yeah, the thing that would do for us is a smoother, safer entry and exit, right?
Right.
But it's not gonna prevent us from doing the parking area. So I think the idea was to get the parking area,
Done.
if that was the next step, get that started and done. And then maybe it becomes
Right.
a little bit less intimidating to
Right.
the gas company.
Because we've already, tonight, we approved for the mapping that would be associated with that, so.
Yep, yep. So I think I like the way you broke it down, and we already voted on and approved. If you guys agree, we should move forward. I think we do with Beals and Thomas. The idea would be to consider the parking lot as one of the next projects
Yeah.
that we rank.
Right.
No luck, Linda?
And then the next project, right, so that was the East Main Street, and the next one is Berry Acres. And so
multiple boardwalks.
right, so multiple bridges and boardwalks, I say most of the bridges, but we've done one boardwalk, or two boardwalks and a bridge, and another bridge is going in this weekend, Friday. We still have a section of 100 foot of boardwalk to go in. Well, I think it's 100 foot. It's right now it's dry. But in the wet season, because of the beavers, there's water that gets up to like a foot. So you have to do something to make it a bridge more so than a board.
So that was done, the very impressive bridge, by the way, was done on a workday, right?
Yeah, and the rest.
Yeah, all of them have been done.
Yeah, so it's us providing funding, but it's workday, so it's really not taxing our group
Not for,
per se, right?
other than that, our group does, I guess, decide,
Volunteer.
well, I don't know, this, to decide what projects are gonna be on working.
And it's
Right.
my support,
Yeah.
whether it be
Right.
engineering or.
And we help, the Trails Club is asked specifically to say, all right, help us prioritize what we should be working on.
Yeah.
So I'm just bringing.
They have access to that?
What's that?
They asked us that?
Yeah,
So
Okay.
even more specifically, we basically choose the workday projects and tell them what we would like them to do. And we now publicize them and first, and then so we basically own the workday projects now. Well, we own volunteer projects that we want for our trails.
Right.
And the Trails Committee Trails Club will help get people by publicizing, et cetera. So that's a change.
An added responsibility.
So,
Yeah,
It is
Yeah.
recent. We'll talk about it. I think we should add it to next agenda, or you could talk about it we can talk about it during other in a few minutes. All right, yeah, so we have about a half an hour left.
and then we have the Fruit Street Bridge.
Yeah.
Right, so it's a dilapidated bridge. I think that should be another workday session.
Mhm.
I still could volunteer anybody's efforts type of thing, but
Yeah.
Chuck's probably got his hand up there.
Chuck?
Just at the Fruit Street Bridge, I think that's more than one workday. It's
But you think a workday could still resolve it?
about 100 feet, including demolition of the existing bridge. So my guess is we're looking at, a couple of days of work.
But
Maybe
no
if we-
contractor hiring or anything like that, Chuck?
No, that's volunteer labor.
So.
And there's interest from from NEMBA in helping out on that as well.
No,
Who did you talk to at number to hear that?
Laura Zimmer has been
Yeah, I know her.
involved.
You right,
Yep.
don't I?
Sometimes, yeah, I know Laura personally though, sort of.
So I know there was a couple ads to the list. What is that? You don't have those, Sean, right? The ads, Linda recorded those, but that was the budget.
well, it was the one that Ken brought up, right? And then on that one, hold on a second, Ken. So Ken was talking about the East Main Street. There was some connection to East Main Street Ken brought up. And then there's the project that Jack brought up in prior meetings that Ken brought up tonight, is from the senior center area to recess top to.
Sorry, we're trying to get a drive. I apologize for interrupting, trying to get our access.
Well,
Please continue. I'm sorry about talking over you.
All right, and so the first project was the one that Ken brought up on East Main Street, some additional work that needs to be done there.
It may be a fourth segment, depending on what, can I know what the outcome of next week?
What I'm talking about?
The debrief.
All I did is put it on the agenda. I didn't describe exactly what I meant. I don't think anybody knows what I. So I'd like to start by describing something that Chuck did at Berry Acres. So he did two things that were kind of crucial to our last Trails Club hike there. One of them was he just plain weed whacked the trails that made that trail system a heck of a lot more accessible. It's the kind of maintenance type of thing that we can do, but it's a regular part. A second thing that is a specific aspect of that, which is that in order to use the trail system and access it from Chamberlain Whalen, Chuck knocked down weeds on a part where it wasn't obvious to the people that lived there that there was even a trail access point.
Yeah, I had a lot of difficulty finding that.
Well, and until he did it, it was impossible to find, right? So as a similar situation is present in this Legacy Farms, which is the item that I wanted to put up there. Now, the difference is that it's again on a pipeline, and there may be a permission on that, but the gas company itself knocks the weeds down that on the pipeline every once in a while. All I'm asking is that we knock the weeds down so people can go through it. So right now it's just this high. Well, I say just plain whack them.
Where is it? Where is the trail?
Well, we had a map, which we ought to always have. So if you go to Legacy Farms North, and I think it's Walnut Street that goes to the right.
Is that the section that, so when we
Yes.
started our hike, so going north down that trail and then, okay,
Remember, we had a little bit,
yes, so,
kept
okay,
looking
yep,
for red paint on the tree.
Yes.
That's what he's talking.
okay, all right, I
Did you
understand.
guys actually go to this?
Yeah, we did,
Yeah.
yeah, we did. I understand what you're
Some
saying.
people did.
No,
No, a smaller group, some did and some didn't.
I thought you were gonna go only south of there.
No, we did the
no,
whole,
we did the whole thing.
So you did go down that?
Yes.
yeah.
So weren't the weeds in the way, Con?
No,
That wasn't bad at all.
It was early in the season too.
Oh, this is a long time.
no. Ken, you may not realize it, but
Oh,
the trails with
March is different.
that condominium association through Legacy Farms and Roy McDowell, they mow that trail. So their trail was mowed.
I don't know.
What is difficult is coming across to the part on the north side of the gas line, trying to find the access when we were looking for the red paint on the
That's
tree.
right, yeah, yeah.
So you can find it, you can do it.
Hmm.
It's not bad.
Okay, and then the other trail that we've talked about in the past is the one that Jack's talked about, and that's Hopkins State Park on the west side of 85.
Correct.
That goes north and south to Main Street, not east or west, right? Main Street,
Up to the cemetery, yeah.
yeah, the cemetery.
Cemetery.
All right, so, okay. So that's on that's on the list.
Okay, and that's,
And then that's
Big
not,
project.
which we had the project that Jane put together, that's also on the list.
yep.
I don't think we need to talk about that. It was a nice write-up, Jane. Nice job.
Well,
Oh, Linda did the write-up. was nice.
Linda did the write-up.
So I'm sorry. So what else after Fruit Street and the East Main Street? Wasn't there one more?
I would actually take East Main Street off the list, honestly. Yeah,
Okay.
Ken.
Yeah,
What Jane was talking about, that connection, yeah, I'm like,
it's already there.
But when did you walk it?
We had yeah,
So
it was,
before the weeds, so all I'm talking about is
You were-
that if
Is
you want to
maintaining it.
walk on something, when the weeds get up to 8 feet high, if you don't keep knocking them down, that trail's gone.
Ken, Legacy Farms mowed.
Chuck is talking.
Hold on one second. So, Jane, do you have a comment?
No, I was
Or-
just telling Ken, what he's requesting is already being done.
I just don't think it is.
All right, so I think we should do a visual, but Chuck, do you have a comment?
Chuck.
Just regarding mowing down trails to keep them open. I have in my garage the town's battery powered heavy duty brush cutter and power sides. I am more than happy to share it with someone else. So if any, my 82 years are starting to catch up with me. So if anyone has the time and inclination and energy to tackle some of these trails to keep them open, please let me know. I will show you very simply how to use the thing. It's pretty foolproof. And that may help.
Yeah, I think you can
Open
stop
things
selling.
open.
Ken agreed.
Yeah, no,
Ken said he agrees to your sales job board.
All I really
Okay.
want is permission from you guys to work with Chuck to do this sort of thing.
It's not, yeah, sure. I mean, in some respects, this could be combo.
I'll move it. I'll move it.
Okay, all right. So I don't think we need to vote, because
No,
okay, very good gesture. Okay, so it's 8:40. We've talked about a group of issues. When Linda was going through the shared drive, I found a spreadsheet with 38 rows in it of items
Okay.
that I got at the very beginning. So I'll circulate this back to, I came from Peter.
Please.
Yeah, yeah, but it's got, it breaks out so the very acres, that's why it's got so many rows. It's got, it's got Brook Hollow, it's got Chamberlain Whalen subdivision.
Is this?
This, yeah.
Yes, it's the list of projects, so we've
Yeah.
really got most of.
No, but some, I'm just saying, like, that's what I wasn't, I go crazy a lot. I knew I
It was-
I knew we had the list, but it was just coincidental as you opened up the drive. All right, so,
Can you share that with the group? with us?
Yeah, I've shared it in
it's,
minutes. I share it in almost every minute.
yeah, but it's just a good reminder and to validate that nothing slipped through the cracks.
Yeah, and what we should update that list, make it real,
And maintain
the
it.
right columns and use it every meeting.
Yep, yep, and that's why I did reference it, but you guys convinced me that I was going crazy. So I had to mention it, that I'm not on this.
Yeah, go on.
Okay, so with about 20 minutes left in the meeting, we have other topics to consider, but we don't have to visit those topics. We could continue down the path on these items and go, well, I know we have more items to talk about. Or we could come back next meeting. Peter could also weigh in, he'll be here, but we could come back next meeting and what do you want to call it? Rank them, whatever you're.
My recommendation is to take these, now that I have full context of all of them. Okay, you have all of them, you put them in a grid with the priorities across the grid. And so then you can see project and priority. And you say, okay, yeah, priority, like the categorization of the priority, but like, does it meet this priority? Or categorization or criteria. Criteria. So, and you say, does it meet the criteria, yes or no? You know what I mean? And whether or not we do a checkbox or whether we want to weight the criteria, TBD.
I don't think the criteria can be answered with checkboxes for the most part.
Okay. I wasn't looking to, let's track down.
It's a
Suggesting that.
Yeah, no, I think it is good. Obviously, we're all fans and directionally heading towards more structure. Does anybody want to volunteer to put that grid
I can do
together?
that, that's easy.
Okay, and then circulate it through Peter, who can then send it out to the group?
No,
And then
I'll give it to
people can do
Linda, we'll put it on Google Drive, cut all serve.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And so we could do that. Is that the idea ahead of next meeting?
So it's all these projects down the left.
The ones that we got about tonight,
Criteria
with the description of what they are.
Okay.
We have context. And the criteria would, one would go down and criteria would go across.
It could be yes, no, or
It's way too deep.
It feels that way to me, so, like that's just been.
it's a way to
Honestly,
start.
to me, it's easy.
It'll
It's
help. I think,
easy.
I think it's a quick exercise and it'll help to what we had talked about towards the beginning. It'll help rationalize our process because we'll find that we don't need to keep rating on that. We can merge these two. It should come down to 5 or 6 at the most criteria, I think, or 4.
Exactly.
But I think we have to go through the process to determine what the real process, what the real criteria is.
Exercise.
So,
Depends on, if you think the criteria will come down to 4 or 5, why don't we work on trying to get the criteria?
I think it'll just naturally gravitate towards a number or stay where it is. I'm just saying, I think with
Sure, the criteria,
criteria, let's put it through the criteria strainer.
yeah,
to Sean's suggestion and come back next meeting
Yeah,
with feedback.
See what.
This criteria is confusing, this was redundant, maybe everything's perfect and we have it in a grid, but I think we go through the exercise.
have criteria that we feel strongly.
It's qualitative.
As of tonight, I feel strongly about the criteria, but unless I apply it in real life,
Yeah,
I don't know if it-
I think we should apply that qualitatively, not quantitatively.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna sit here all night arguing, okay, well, the parking lot is a 4 on connectivity. No, I think it's a 3 on
that's why yes or no.
connectivity.
That's why it's a yes or no.
I think you
Maybe
have
with
to
a comment.
qualitatively rank all of them and just come up with a single number for that project.
Yeah.
If we don't do that, we're gonna be here all night talking about one
For
item.
about 10 years.
And getting-
All right, so
I'm
getting
still
back,
clear what we're gonna do, then I know we're gonna have the projects and we're gonna have the criteria we can
Yeah.
put tonight. But what are we filling in those boxes? Is it qualitative? And if it's qualitative, is it words?
not the extent to which, I don't think we should do 1 through 5 in each of the criteria. I don't. I think it's overkill
Yeah.
personally,
Yeah.
and it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And it's gonna we're gonna be debating one number in one box when it doesn't happen. So does it or doesn't meet the criteria? If it's gray or whatever, if you want to put comments, you can overlay comments in there. You can add your comments.
Do you want to do an X? Put a yes one. I would just.
I would say yes or no.
Okay.
One.
I thought it's a good job, Roger.
Sorry, what are you talking, Linda?
See how, can we take one project, walk across the criteria right now to see if this is gonna
So
work?
we haven't
Yeah.
decided on this next project. We've got a work day on September 6th. Do we have another meeting before that? Because we're supposed to decide what we're gonna do.
Yeah, the workday is Berry Acres. A few months ago, we voted to do Berry
It
Acres.
doesn't say that on our Trails Club site. So it should-
All right, so
You have to officially say that's.
guys, this is obviously hard. If it was easy, we would be there. We're a lot of good, smart, hardworking people. I think, I don't care if it's an X or a Y or yes, yes or no, but I still think that, and if we want to, we don't have to vote. We could take it as like, what do people think? Or we can take a vote of what the process is. But I think we should put it into a grid and come back next meeting with how we, whether we think of these criteria.
Tonight,
Yeah.
just try to go. through-
Okay, so let's stay past 9, but I'd like to at least tackle the workday
Okay,
item.
Okay.
So if you guys can everybody stay past 9 o'clock?
I don't know that we're gonna need it.
It's 13 minutes,
Okay. Okay,
so.
well, we can.
I want to see the grid. I'd like to see them all together. That's how I think.
But she wants to go through to know how to do it. I don't think it's fine.
Oh,
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Now, we have these, the Constellation 7 projects or so we talked about. Now, all of them are pretty far baked.
And 90% are maintenance too, but
Well, right, and it just seems to me that going forward, if we apply criteria to projects, that makes some sense. To do it to these is really an exercise.
Utility.
I mean, is
well,
anyone
it's,
say we shouldn't do one of these projects?
no, but I think that going through the exercise should be quick and it should be hopefully a no-brainer. And it's a baseline from a starting point to the next projects we bring in.
Yeah, for example,
That's-
I talked about a project through the state park.
Yeah.
That seems to be one that's
Yeah.
new and hasn't gone in the other yet.
Yeah.
That's when you rank. That makes sense to me,
Right.
you know, but
But a lot of them kind of fell out of my mind because they're workday items,
That's another one of the same kind, right?
you know?
Yeah, no, you have a point, Jack. If we've already started them, committed them, and
Yeah, if they have an owner,
don't waste our time doing that.
At least
Yeah.
enough.
But however, the West Main Street one on the projects, these new guys, that would be it.
yeah, that would make sense, but to do these, anybody gonna say that after we've already.
Frankly, that's where I started this exercise. You guys shot me down. I said, let's weed out the ones, and you guys said,
Well,
wow.
the notice of intent, we're gonna say.
It's valid, it's already too late.
I'd be happy to take the ones that are already funded and instead of going
In process.
criteria, just rank them. Because we still have time,
Yeah.
work and effort. I don't want to just say we're already doing all these, because that's what we've been doing for years. And then nobody even knows what these projects are
No,
because Peter and Chuck run all of them.
the feedback, I think, I agree, is valid. But there's, I think, 4 or 5 on my head, there are workday items. We just said there's nothing for us to do. Peter and Chuck have it. is it worth us going through that exercise and saying, should we still have Peter and Chuck? Or should we have Ken not take Chuck's tool and cut down the weeds? You know what I mean? I don't think that would be productive. That's why I suggested the filtering out of certain ones, but now that I see that they're maintenance and they're workday items, I don't think there's anything for us to decide.
Well, we decide whether they should be done or not.
Well, what is it? Wait, it's about timing. Is, are we, is,
So
which is going to be done for.
we don't want to have a list of 50 workday items.
Yeah.
No, well, we have to prioritize the sequence of workdays, we have an exercise.
Part of what we're doing, and some of them may, I don't know if any of them need materials to be bought, but they might.
Well, I mean, that's what the budget numbers are.
And so, I mean, and maybe people shouldn't own every single project in the.
No, they shouldn't.
Someone else should take some on.
These are historical.
So what does the group want to do? And I've voiced my views, but this is a group.
Jonestown,
What's that?
you have in mind.
I think we should say.
I feel if there's
Offer to do up the chart.
The grid? Okay.
Send it out, people do their homework, come back.
And do people want to do it, at Linda's suggestion, it'll be against all of them, and if you think it's a futile exercise, you can skip it?
Correct.
I didn't say we should do it against all of them necessarily.
Oh, I thought you said all the items here that we just talked about you wanted to do. And because Jack was suggesting some of them, we shouldn't.
I think maybe as a judge, but if you're like, it seems dumb to do the criteria on this, then just,
You don't, yeah.
or pick the one criteria that's really strong.
you know, like,
So you,
90% done.
yeah, so you'll send the grid out, Google Docs, thank you for volunteering.
And add a new
That was easy.
criteria, 90% done.
Well, it's already on there, sort of completion or.
All right,
Yeah.
Or
So-
remains.
So moving. on.
But
I don't,
still give them a priority, ranking or a priority though, because we do have to rank these or prioritize the
all right,
workplaces.
so there were a couple items that I did want us to get to. So we did want to decide on the workday unless you think we had decided.
We did, like 3 meetings ago, we said we're gonna do Berry Acres for the next 3 workdays. This would be the third one coming up. But I'd like to just officially re-propose it in case
Right, we need to do that.
anyone says, no, we don't need to now, because I know you asked about it.
And is this the 100-foot bridge you're saying? Okay,
It's already, all we need to do is approve it, so we can put it on the Trails Club website. That's all we gotta do.
Jack stepped out, but we still have, Chuck, do we have wood for that?
Yeah, I think so.
We have materials, Chuck, already purchased for that 100-foot bridge?
They're purchased and at Hughes, and thanks to Sean Saw, the deck boards are all cut and ready to go. What I'm hoping is that we can do prior to the workday, have a few folks get together to scope out the work a little more, because this is a little different from what we've usually been doing, because it's going to have to be raised to clear what could be over a foot of flooding.
Yeah.
If it ever rains again and the beavers come back. So
All right, so
that's,
let's, Chuck, we're gonna vote
we'll be
on it
ready.
for the sake of
We'll
time.
be
Chuck.
ready.
Yeah, thank you for that. So we're gonna vote. So do I hear a motion? Yeah. Does someone want to word the motion for the minutes?
I motion that we have Berry Acres 100-foot boardwalk be the workday for September, like whatever, 6 to 6.
Is there a second?
Sure, second.
Okay, all in favor? Unanimous? Good.
Thank you.
There's one other thing that, we don't have a lot of time, Linda, but if you wanted to take maybe 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, say, and brief people on what Andy, you and I have been working on, because we wanted to get something on the next agenda if we could.
And also
This is under the other items.
the trails committee workdays thing. Just so everybody knows, that's now going forward, that we're responsible for workday.
Let's see.
Trails Club will help, but we own them.
How
So
did that happen?
Weirdly, John seemed to feel that that was the way it always should have been. But because Trails Committee got busy, we didn't. It's really sort of a historic, like if we were doing it all from scratch, that's how it would have been, that Trails Committee owns it and Trails Club helps. But because Trails Club came first and Trails Committee came after, they kind of ended up owning them and we just kind of approved them. But really, we have the budget for them. We choose them. So their role is really just to help us get people.
Sounds like it's a natural progression.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Shifting, yeah.
Yep.
So. Okay, so then what Scott and Andy and I did was met to talk about the contact us feedback form that we want to have on the webpage. So on our website, we'll have a page that it says contact us for issues, comments, things like that. We have a draft of the form. And what we would like to do, we'll end up getting a QR code that we'll put on, at certain trails and things like that. We'll have an article about it at some point in the Independent, but right now, and we created a spreadsheet where we're keeping track of reports that came in. We're going to work with IT though, so that someone will fill out the form online and that spreadsheet will automatically get populated. Will be notified. The three of us have agreed to take this on for now as sort of a mini trial subcommittee. The three of us will get notified when a new report comes in. Somebody will be responsible for triaging. We'll shift that person around every 6 months, let's say. To start with, I can be the triage person, and the IT department agreed to give us a email address that ends in hopkintonma.gov. So that took me the better part of a month to get worked out, but it's worked out. And so they just want to know what that email address should be. So we were going to have it be trailsfeedback@hopkintonma.gov. Right now, Peter's address, the chair, is trailscommittee@hopkintonma.gov. So ours would be Trails Feedback. So if everybody agrees on that, could we go with that one? And then a name has to go with it.
This is for maintenance issues, emergencies, danger. It's all different types of.
I guess I'm gonna say this, and I'm pretty not very popular saying it, but I'm gonna say it. One of the things that strikes me for the long-term goal of this committee is to develop a trails network in the town for public use and public access. And one of the things we really should think about is what the future of those trails are. And I believe the responsibility, it's a town asset, it's a town infrastructure, should fall on the public works.
We're not saying otherwise. This
Well,
is the
what you're
intake.
doing is you're setting up a system that says we'll do it, and that's gonna make it much harder in
We're the
future to
intake.
transfer that responsibility.
No, we're the intake.
Some of
We're the intake. Are you suggesting that the town should take
Right,
all?
the town should be responsible.
The town doesn't want to.
Well,
They don't, but that's not my problem.
They don't.
I think that's a fight worth fighting.
Yeah, I agree, Jack. I don't want to be on that
I
list.
I don't think they have the expertise to know what to do.
the reason, sorry, guys, just for the sake of time, right? So the reason why Linda is bringing this up, because we want to put this on our next agenda.
The East Main.
We want to talk about it. Linda's going to send out the process. She's done a lot of hard work, process, suggestions, the intake form, and how the process would work, right? You're looking at me like,
Do that next month, because we have the priorities thing next month.
Yeah, we'll do.
well, I mean,
But
I don't think we could take a full meeting. I think,
prior,
no, to go through this.
okay,
Well, we should start with this because we never get to it, but I think it's worth having, at least getting people's feedback on what the proposal is. Because there's a strong opinion. We can make it a.
It's not a strong opinion, it's just an.
No, I understand. It's a stance, an opinion.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so time's getting short, so
Yeah.
we'll put it on.
So that's what the suggestion was. I don't know, Linda, if you have anything to wrap up on that.
I guess that,
Waiting here.
so we're not thinking that we. Yeah.
No, I think we need to.
It's gonna be discussed at the next meeting.
You have bridges, you have.
We have.
That would be affected by
Wait, we're,
They don't have the.
sorry, one at a time, guys. Sorry. We're gonna wrap up the meeting in a minute.
I thought we already
so-
discussed the contact.
I know it's,
here.
we did, but the process and who's the intake and stuff is what we'll talk about next meeting.
Okay.
And if we need to go to a vote, we will.
So then I shouldn't tell them that that email address is approved and we,
No, you should wait till next meeting.
okay. Wow, so slow.
Yeah, things move slow, especially when you only meet once a month.
Yeah.
Well, we met a lot up to this point.
That.
All right, so, unless there's any other burning issues.
No.
Is there a motion to close the meeting?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Bye.
All right, thank you, everybody.
I just wanted to
Sounds a
also
lot.
share that Ed Carroll wrote us a note that trail, people regarding the Trails Club, the Trails Stay.
All right, that's good. Thank you, everybody, for joining.
It's very much like